All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour, where the state of Israel, interestingly, has now approved a $300 million plan. And it has done this, believe it or not, to double the illegal settlements in the occupied Golan Heights. Now, the multi-million-dollar project plans were announced by the Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett. And the move is meant to further consolidate Israel's hold on the Golan Heights by changing the demography in the region. Now remember, this was a piece of territory that the state of Israel captured from Syria 5 decades ago, and it did so illegally. Now, under the plan, the state of Israel aims to build about 7,300 settler homes in the region over a period of the next 5 years. 2 new Golan Heights settlements have been planned, and 4,000 homes are expected to be built there. And the announcement has come 40 years after the state of Israel annexed the territory from Syria. Millions of dollars will be spent on housing, infrastructure and other projects. The goal is to roughly attract nearly about 23,000 new Jewish settlers to the area. And nearly about 25,000 Israeli settlers live illegally in the Golan Heights, along with about 23,000 Druze.
המטרה שלנו היום היא להכפיל את ההתיישבות ברמת הגולן. לשם כך אנחנו מחזקים את העיר קצרין בשתי שכונות חדשות, רובע 12, רובע 13. לשם כך אנחנו גם מקימים 2 יישובים חדשים ברמת הגולן, היישוב אסיף והיישוב מטר. אנחנו מגבירים פה את ההתיישבות.
Now remember, the state of Israel captured the occupied Golan Heights from Syria back in the year 1967. And Israel annexed the territory formally into its own territory on the 14th of December back in 1981. But this is an annexation that has not been recognized by the international community, and one of the first countries to in fact annex this illegal occupation of Israel or the Golan Heights was in fact done by the United States of America under the former President Donald Trump in 2019. Naftali Bennett has claimed that after a decade of conflict in Syria, international calls to restore the Syrian control over Golan Heights have been muted. Now, Israel and Syria, which are still technically at war, are separated by a de facto border, the Golan Heights, and the region also overlooks Lebanon and borders Jordan. The state of Israel has long argued that the strategically important Golan Heights has been fully integrated into the state of Israel ever since Israel carried out the illegal occupation of the Golan Heights from the Syrians. The state of Israel also emphasizes that the control of the strategic plateau of the Golan Heights is needed for the state of Israel as a protection from Iran and its allies in Syria. But Syria has all along been demanding that international law needs to be respected and Golan Heights needs to be restored as a sovereign, integral territory of the Syrian nation. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.